So hi everyone, welcome to my latest video. A bit of a shorter one today. So outside of the normal content that I've been making for the channel, normally me just ranting about stuff, normally potholes, I thought I'd start a playlist, a series, call it what you will, around rider basics and some of the things that new riders may want to know, some of the things that people who are thinking about getting on a motorcycle for the first time may want to know. Maybe somebody who's looking to go. I'm talking about the UK here. Um, Looking to go through their CBT, perhaps. Maybe they're doing a DAS course. Maybe they're doing the Mod 1, Mod 2. So today's the first video of that series. I'm going to keep it going as long as I can keep my knowledge going. Shorter format videos, hoping to keep this one under 10 minutes and not go on an absolute rant about everything. But today we're going to talk about slow control, arguably the first thing that, at least in the UK, the first thing that a motorcycle rider, a new motorcycle rider, will learn is how to control the bike at slow speeds. It's really important. I think it's one of it is the core skill to start learning how to control a motorcycle. So I'll explain what slow control is, why it's important, and then you can see I'm on a industrial estate at the moment and there are no cars around. We'll take the bike around, do a few slow control maneuvers, and I'll give you some tips and some tricks and maybe some things you can practice if you've got a bike that will hone that skill for you. Even if you've been riding a bike a long time, I see people riding and they're going slowly, but they're not controlling the bike. You see people stopping in the wrong way, see people doing low speeds in slow traffic or doing tight maneuvers on car parks in, I think, the wrong way, at least the way from the way I've been taught. So let's talk about what slow control is first. Slow control on a motorcycle is when you're going, I would say, under 10 miles an hour and you're either performing maneuvers, so that could be U-turns, it could be figure eights, it could be slalom. There's some things you'll do on the Mod 1 test. I'm going to do a video on the Mod 1 test in the coming weeks, actually. But yeah, slow control maneuvers. So either think about that as in a test environment, or think about it day to day. If you're on a car park like this, if you need to be going around tight bends, or you need to be maneuvering between cars and car parking spaces, or you're on the road in stop-start traffic, then slow control is going to be your best friend. So that's what slow control is. Why is it important? So to explain that, a motorcycle wants to stay upright when it's moving. You will have seen, if you've ever watched MotoGP, or there are some videos on YouTube. Unfortunately, at a decent speed, when a biker comes off his bike or her bike, you will see sometimes that the bike carries on. You'll drop the rider, and because the bike's got some momentum, the bike will stand itself up, and off it goes, and it will be stable. So a motorcycle in movement is inherently a stable machine. It wants to stay upright. Now, we could go around the houses about why exactly that is. Some people will tell you it's the centrifugal force of the wheels. Some people will tell you that it's the fact that the rake on the front wheel is in front of the centre of mass. Look into it for yourself. The point is that a motorcycle in motion is a stable machine. It wants to stay upright. Anything that we do to the motorcycle, I thought about this the other day. I think it's quite a good turn of phrase. We are destabilizing the motorcycle in a controlled way. So if we're going around a corner at speed, maybe we're counter steering, we're destabilizing the motorcycle, which is, as I've said, inherently a stable machine that wants to stay upright. We're destabilizing it, but in a controlled way that we're able to manage to give positive input to the bike and get it to go where we want to go. So at decent speeds, the bike is more stable. At lower speeds, the bike is less stable. So we have specific techniques to keep the bike stable at low speeds. And there's one bit of advice, one phrase I want you to take away from this, and that's: if the wheels slow down, the bike goes down. So what we're saying there is the less momentum you have, and you're giving to the motorcycle, the less momentum the machine has, the easier it is for the bike to topple over. So please take that away from this and remember it. If the wheels slow down, the bike goes down. That's something I was taught as part of my motorcycle training, and it's yeah, it stuck with me. So good bit of advice there. Okay, so that's why slow control is important. It is a set of techniques that allows us to keep control of the motorcycle and stability of the motorcycle when performing slow speed maneuvers, and stop start or things around car parks. Okay, so the way that we control a motorcycle at slower speeds for slow speed control is almost the inverse to how we control a motorbike at higher speeds, when the machine has more stability because it has more momentum, more forwards momentum. Okay, so we'll talk about higher speeds first. Higher speeds first. When we want to accelerate or decelerate, we use the throttle. When we want to brake, we use the front brake. And when we want to go around corners, people will give you different techniques. I'm a fan of counter steering, so push right, go right, destabilize the machine, drop into the corner, and off you go. Slow control is the opposite of that. We're controlling everything using the clutch. I'll talk you through all of this in a minute. Stabilizing the machine using the back brake and giving power to the back wheels so that the bike doesn't slow down and the bike doesn't go down. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an overview of what slow control is and why we need it and why it's an absolute core skill to have. Let me talk you through the mechanics of it, because I'm sure that's what you're here for, is to see me actually do some slow control on the bike and talk you through it. So there are 3 mechanical inputs on the bike that we need to utilize to give ourselves the skills for slow control. First one is the clutch. So let me talk you through the clutch first. If I'm teaching anyone to suck eggs here, I apologize, but I think it's useful that I give all of the information. So the clutch. Clutch on a motorcycle is different to, let's say, the clutch on a car. For all intents and purposes, let's think about the clutch on a car as a switch. It's either engaged or not engaged. It's not meant to be feathered in the middle where the bike point of the clutch is. A motorcycle is different. The clutch on a motorcycle is meant to give variable power through what we call the friction zone. So where the clutch, where the engine starts to engage and the plates of the clutch come together, so you're giving power to the back wheel. Let's say there's an inch or an inch and a half amount of travel on the clutch where you can give variable power output from the engine to the back wheel. So first thing we need to understand, and the first thing we're going to utilize, is feathering the clutch to give variable power in the friction zone. So I've got one of these 360 Insta360 things, so I'll pan down and show you what I was doing on the clutch then. But we're giving variable power using the clutch, something we would not do in a car. So first thing to understand. Second mechanical input on the bike to think about when we're doing slow control is the throttle. So we don't want to use the throttle to change speed during slow control maneuvers. But what we do want to do is give, I call it maintenance throttle, maintenance revs, just over idle, to allow enough power to be in the system to feather the clutch. So what we're doing is we're just going to hold the throttle open just a tiny bit. I'm maybe moving it 50 mil. 50 mil, is that right? No, that's not right at all. I'm maybe moving it a centimetre or so. Okay, just to give a little bit of power in the system so that I can perform the other operations and the bike doesn't stall out. If the bike stalls out, the wheels slow down, the bike goes down. The third mechanical input that we're going to need to think about is the back brake. So the back brake is used to stabilize the entire mechanical system, and we do that by dragging the back brake slightly. Now, the reason that we do that is so that more tension and power can be in the system. We have more control over our speed because we're using the throttle to determine the amount of power going from the engine to the back wheel, but then we're also controlling the back wheel and how much power is being realised and put down on the road. So, how to think about the back brake? I would give the advice that when you're dragging the back brake using in slow control manoeuvres, think about it like this. Think that there's a playing card between your foot and the back brake pedal on your under your right foot. Think there's a playing card between there, and just put enough pressure on to keep that playing card in place. If you've got one, put it there, and just initially put enough pressure on so that that wouldn't fly off if you're riding the bike, and then you'll be given the right amount of pressure to the back wheels. Okay. You can use the back brake to, again, determine how much speed you have, but that should be primarily done using the clutch. But you can use the back brake and vary the pressure on the back brake. So those are all mechanical inputs, but let's talk about you as a rider. One of the most important things during motorcycle riding in general, but also in slow control, under slow control maneuvers, is to look where you're going. Look where you're going. Don't look at the ground. If you look at the ground, you're going to end up on the ground. If you look at the bush, you're going to end up in the bush. So in a minute, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out onto this little car park. I'm going to do a few slow control maneuvers and talk you around it. But let's just talk about this little corner first. So I'm going to approach the corner using slow speed control techniques. So I'll be dragging the back brake, giving maintenance throttle, and determining my speed by feathering the clutch. When I engage myself into the corner, I'm immediately going to lock on to the exit of the corner with my head. So I'm going to angle my head and my body is going to move a little bit. And then when I go around, the bike is going to come up and it's going to line itself up with my body. When you're looking, it's important not to look at the ground. So we say look at the exit of the corner. Don't look at the pavement or the tarmac on the exit of the corner. Give yourself a horizon line and line up with the exit of the corner and look at the horizon line. That's gonna keep you straight and true. Don't move your head from that point, and the bike will come up as I go around this corner, and it will sit in front of me. Okay, and that will be the first slow control. I'm going to go and do a few U-turns on here, and I'll talk you through exactly what I'm doing under slow control conditions. If anyone's got any questions about this, put it in the comments, please. That would be appreciated. And yeah, I'm giving my time to this channel, trying to share my knowledge. If you could like and subscribe, maybe share the videos. That would be really, really appreciated. Helps me reach more people. Have you got any ideas for this series? If there's any techniques you want to learn more about or hear me talk about, or maybe I can give some advice, then please, again, put them in the comments, and I will absolutely do my best to cover them. Right, let's put the gloves on and we'll go and do some practical slow speed control. Oh, it's really hot today. It doesn't look particularly sunny, but it's one of the hottest days of the year so far, and I am roasting in here at the moment. I'm going to go home and have a barbecue tonight. I think I've earned it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll turn the bike on in a minute, and we'll set off from a start. I know that I'm going to be doing slow speed control maneuvers, so I'm going to keep my riding profile in slow speed control technique, maintenance throttle, feathering the clutch, holding the back brake and just dragging it that little bit, putting enough pressure on to keep a playing card between my foot and the brake pedal, the brake lever, so that playing card would stay there, and that will give me enough initial pressure. I'm going to give positive input to the steering. Some people will tell you can counter steer under slow control. If you're watching this video, that's an advanced technique. Let's master this first, and then there are some great videos on YouTube. I can't remember the guy's name. He's a Russian chap, and he's got some really good instructional videos on motorcycles. I will I'll try and find out his name. I've seen some of his videos, but yeah, he's got one on counter steering at low speeds. That's good. The bike I'm doing it on today is a Suzuki GSX S1000, 200 kilogram litre bike, reasonably manoeuvrable. If I can do slow speed control on this, you can do slow speed control on anything, really. This is it's a naked sports bike, but it's not made for slow speed control agility. But if I can do it on this, maybe you're looking to do your CBT on a 125, you can do it on that. Dead easy. Maybe you're going to do your Mod 1, Mod 2 on your full A license, you're riding a 650 or a 700, you can do slow speed control on that. If I can do it on this, you can do it on that. Okay, so let's turn the bike on. Kickstand up, covering the back brake. Back brake's fully engaged to stop me from rolling whilst I start the bike. we're in neutral, but clutch in for safety. Start the bike. Okay, we'll put it into first gear with the clutch in. So, in a second I'm going to set off, I'm going to give it maintenance throttle. That's what maintenance throttle sounds like. Just a little bit over idle so that there's power in the system. I'm going to release the back brake, but I'm going to keep a little bit of pressure on, especially when I get up to this, this right-hand corner. And I'm going to use the clutch and feather how much power is being delivered to the back wheels. So feather in the clutch in that friction zone to determine my speed, keeping a little bit of maintenance throttle on, and dragging the back brake. And to lock on to the horizon line, and then I'm going to let the bike come round and line up with me. Okay? See, as we're doing an instructional video, let's do the shoulder checks. Okay, so I've got the back brake engaged, I'm only doing 4 miles an hour, I'm feathering the clutch, locked onto the horizon line, and there we go. The bike has come round. So clutch in, throttle off, stopping using the back brake. Important tip, when you stop on a motorcycle, you should always be stopping with the back brake. You slow down with the front brake, and you stop with the back brake. If you stop with the front brake, your bike's going to dip forwards and you're going to put the bike down. So we're not going to touch this front brake at all, other than when I'm at a standstill, and if I want to go into neutral or first gear, I need my other foot. So when I'm at a standstill, I might be using this. But when we're moving, we're not going to engage the front brake at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and do some, I'll do some U-turns on here, some right-hand U-turns. At some point the clutch will be fully out when I'm going towards the end of these car parking spaces, and then I'll put myself under slow control conditions again. I'll be giving maintenance throttle, covering that back brake with playing card pressure, and determining my speed using the friction zone within the clutch. Okay, so let's set off. Okay, so everything's fully out at the moment, clutch is out. So I'm dragging the back brake, maintenance throttle, feathering the clutch, looking where I want to go, using the clutch and the back brake to determine my speed, and I'm out of the corner. Let's do that again. So I'm covering the back brake to slow down, a bit of pressure, maintenance throttle, feathering the clutch to determine my speed, looking exactly where I'm going at the horizon, giving positive input on the steering, and the bike will come up to meet me. Okay, let's do it again. So maintenance throttle, covering the back brake, using the clutch to determine my speed, feathering that, looking where I want to go, and the bike will come round to meet me again. Let's do 2 more of those. Slowing down using the back brake, maintenance throttle, feathering the clutch, looking where I want to go, determining my speed, using the clutch and the back brake, and the bike comes up to meet me. Let's do that again. I'll try and give some different camera angles of what I'm doing here. Okay, so looking exactly where I want to go, maintenance throttle, using the clutch and the back brake to determine my speed, and off we go. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it around and put it in the middle. Same technique again. Okay, so put the bike in neutral, turn it off for the moment, and I'll put the foot stand down. Okay, so that was very basic slow controlled maneuvers. Said the same thing over and over again. The operations you want to undertake for slow control is maintenance throttle to give you enough power in the system, using the biting point on the clutch, the friction zone on the clutch, to determine how much power is in the system and how much speed you have, and using the back brake to create stability in the mechanical system, and also using it possibly to slow down and speed up as well if you want, in conjunction with the clutch. So the clutch comes in, the back brake's on, it's a balancing act between the two, and it's something you will get a feel for. Okay? So U-turns probably aren't the best thing to start with, but that was a really good example of how slow control works. I'm going to give you an exercise here. I'm just going to back the bike up a little bit, give myself a little bit more room. I'm going to give you an exercise here. Maybe it's one of the first times you've been on a motorcycle. You want to, maybe you're on a 125 and you want to practice for your Mod 1, which is a slow speed control test that you have to pass before you can go and do your road test. This is a useful little way of just getting the balance between the clutch and the back brake right. So I'm going to turn the bike on. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in a straight line. I'm going to keep myself under slow control conditions. So I'm not going to accelerate to where I'm out of slow control conditions and I'm riding the bike normally. What I'm going to do is just speed up a bit, slow down a bit, speed up a bit, slow down a bit. And that will start to give me a feel for the bike point on the clutch and how much I should be engaging that friction zone, and how much pressure to put on the back brake as well to determine my speed. Once you've got the feel for speeding up and slowing down under slow control conditions, that will help you slow down as you reach the entrance to the U-turn. It'll help you keep momentum and be able to give power and accelerate out of it. So, helps if I'm in gear. There we go. Okay, so I'm now under slow control conditions, maintenance throttle, feather in the clutch. I'm going to slow down a bit. Now I'm going to speed up a bit. Now I'm going to slow down a bit. Now I'm going to speed up a bit. Now I'm going to slow down a bit. So to speed up, I'm letting the clutch out and letting go of the brake, and the clutch in and on the brake. Okay, I'm just going to turn around here, locking on to where I want the bike to go. Okay, so I'm going to speed up a bit and slow down. Clutch out, foot off the brake to speed up, but I'm not disengaging the clutch completely. Clutch in a little bit and on the brake. You can even stop completely and then go again. That'll take you a while to master. Okay, so let's turn around again. We'll do that one more time. Okay, so slow and speed up a little bit. Slow. Clutch out, off the brake, maintenance throttle to speed up. Clutch in, pressure on the brake to slow down. And this will really help with your balance as well. Okay, turn that around one more time. Okay, we'll go and do a U-turn at the end, and then I'll wrap everything up. Clutch in, giving pressure on the back brake, dragging that back brake, maintenance throttle, locking onto where I want to go, and using the clutch to determine my power output. Okay, so I'll put it in neutral and turn the bike off. Okay, hopefully that was useful for you. If anyone needs more of an explanation, I'm happy to do a part 2 to this, and I'll put some cones out and show you around all of that. I might do that as part of my What is a Mod 1 video, which I've got planned, actually. Talking to some guys at a training school to see if they'll let me go down and use their stuff to do it. So that would be good. Anyway, I hope this was useful. If one person can watch this and it helps with their confidence on a motorcycle, it helps them towards either their CBT or their Mod 1, then great. If you're already riding a bike, practice this. This is something you should be doing and practicing to keep those skills on your bike. So yeah, best of luck, everybody. Ride safe out there, and drop me a comment if there's anything else you'd like me to cover. Thanks. See you soon.